All right. So I think we're ready to go. Just give me 1 second. I need to check on one more thing before I get started. Like I said, last webinar, we had a few complaints that people cannot hear and see us on YouTube. So I want to make sure tonight that we're streaming on every platform and that you can see me. So give me 1 second and I'll share my screen and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Once again, if you can see and hear me, just type in yes. Let me know you're there if I get started because I don't want to be talking to nobody again tonight. So uh, just type in yes in the chat box if you can see and you can hear me, and we will get started. Yes, you can see me. Great. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Well, let's get started. So, if you were on the last webinar that took place on Tuesday night, we were talking about personal branding, and that was personal branding part one. And in that webinar, I was really just talking about what is personal branding and how it is very important to your business and your brand. So tonight, what I want to do, I want to follow up on that topic. So I want to get more in depth into exactly how you go about building your personal brand. Because we talked about concepts, but tonight I'm really going to break down, let you know what elements you need to have in order to have a strong personal brand. All right. So once again, we're talking about personal branding tonight. Is part two of that. We're really gonna get more in depth into what is personal brand and how you set up a personal brand. So as always, I want to make sure that you're all with me, that you're all following. So if you are ready to learn more about how to build a strong personal brand, type in "I'm different." Once again, if you're ready to learn more about how to build a strong personal brand, type in "I'm different." I'm different. Once again, if you have a strong, want to learn how to build a strong personal brand, type in "I'm different," and then we'll get started. So while I'm waiting on you to do that, I'll just say that once again, it's so important to have a strong personal brand. I see you. I'm different. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Thank you. And I said this last time in the webinar, and I'll say it again. The world is saturated. It's crowded. There's so many channels. There's so many movies. There's so many commercials, advertisement. It all comes down to standing out. And I believe now in today's economy, the only way the business you can stand out is by being different. And that's where personal branding comes in. And like I said last webinar, people are not drawn to brands. They're drawn to people. They're drawn to stories. Those are things that pull them in. So even if you have a business, that's fine. Have a business, but you still, as a business owner, need to have your own separate branding. Why? Because people are attracted to, once again, people and not to brands. So that's why it's so important to make sure you have a strong personal brand for your business. So tonight's agenda is pretty simple. We're going to talk about how to build a personal brand. Step two, we're going to be doing an audit, and finally, we'll do a recap. So the audit works like this. So if you want me to review your LinkedIn profile, just drop in your LinkedIn URL and I'll live on the screen. I'll pull up your website and let you know what I think about your profile. Because once again, it's fine for me to talk about my profile and what you should have, but I believe it's best when I can break down to you what you're doing on your social media profiles and tell you how you can change your profile, your website to be more impactful for your business. So once again, if you want me to do a live audit of your LinkedIn page, just drop in your link to your page and I'll be sure to do a live audit. So we asked this question last time, and I'll ask it again. The question is, why is personal branding? What is personal branding, and why is it so important? Once again, if you can type in what is personal branding to you, and why it is so important. Hey Tracy, you're different. Thank you. Thanks for joining us again. So once again, type in what is personal branding to you, and why is personal branding so different. Anybody want to type in what is personal branding and why is it so important? Okay, so while we're waiting, I'll tell you why. um, Personal branding is once again about positioning yourself as being an expert. And oh, thank you, Tracy. Tracy says personal branding is a unique expression of one's business, and it sets you apart from others. Yeah, that's it. And that's why opening the first question I asked you to type in "I'm different," because once again, having a personal brand, it sets you apart from everybody else. You don't just blend into the background. You stand out and you're different. So that's why it's so important to have a personal brand. We have another comment here. It says it's what you think about yourself and how you are perceived. It is important because it is your image and what you stand for. Yeah, that's great. And I'll key on one point you really said that was really powerful. It's how others perceive you. That's what it's all about. So it's great. If I think I'm the best speaker, the best dresser, that's fine. But the point of a personal branding is to influence your customer's mindset, to influence the way they think about you. And I said on Tuesday night's webinar that think about brands. I think in branding, yes, there's cheap products that are trash, but there's a certain point where certain products and services are similar. And you pay more because why? It has a strong brand, because in your mind, their brand is worth more. That brand is better. So once again, that's why branding is so important uh, for your business. So let me move on and give you the textbook definition again of what is personal branding. So personal branding is positioning yourself as an authority in industry and elevating your credibility, and once again, making you stand out and be different from the competition. Once again, that's what personal branding really is. And, I key on what is said about um, increasing your authority. And once again, coming out from your company and talking about your product or service, whatever you do, that makes you an authority. And when people are an authority, they go to listen to you. They go to seek you out. Why? Because you're a trusted source. Think about the news when they're doing a story on health or medicine or business, whatever. They bring on an expert, somebody that's highly credible in that field to talk about that. Why? Because as consumers, as people, we look up to those people that are experts in their field. So in your business, no matter how big or small it is, you have to stand out and you have to be the expert. Why? Because once again, people want to go to the expert. I said it on last webinar, but people are tired of the big box store in a sense. They want that boutique service. They want somebody that's custom, somebody that they can deal with. And I think one of the things right now, personal branding, that's so key is um, I think it's selling yourself short now if you're competing on price. If that's your only thing, price. So being the cheapest works if you're Walmart, if you're Target. But if you're a small business owner, being cheaper doesn't work for you. Why? Because you can't sell enough volume to make up for that shortfall. So I think it really comes down to making sure you have a value for your business and a value for your service. And then once again, when people see the authority, they're going to pay more for that product and pay more for that service. Why? Because they're buying you in a sense. And at the end of the day, we have B2B companies, B2C companies, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, people are buying from a business. I don't care if you're selling to the government, if you're selling to consumers, the state, whoever, whatever company, you're dealing with a person. And once again, people are attracted to people. Why? Because people humanize brands. And once again, when I feel that connection to you, I'm more likely to choose your company for service. Why? Because I feel a strong personal connection. So before I move on, I'm talking a lot here. So far, is this helpful? I've given you a little bit about personal branding. So if this is helpful, type in a five. If this is not helpful, type in a zero. So once again, if you find this helpful, type in a five. If it's not helpful, just type in a one. Thank you, Jeremy. It says a five. Appreciate that. Got another five. Anybody else? Is anybody on the webinar that's on YouTube or on LinkedIn? Because everybody I see now is coming from Facebook. So I don't forget about my YouTube community. So if you're on YouTube, just type in yes and let me know that you're joining us on YouTube. Tracy six, as always. Appreciate that. Okay, now we're really going to get into it. Really going to talk about how you can build that personal brand. So I didn't do this last time, but last time we talked about a lot of things you can do. I talked about having a website. I talked about going to GoDaddy.com and buying your name as a domain name. So did anybody do that? Did anybody here go to GoDaddy and they buy their name as a domain name? If you went to GoDaddy and you bought your name as the domain name, type in yes. I want to see that because that's the simple step you can take, really owning your personal brand, is by simply buying your name as a domain name. That's as easy as going to GoDaddy.com, typing in your name, whatever it is, sterlingmckinley.com, and then buying that name. Okay, somebody says will do. Yeah, that's great because you want to buy it before somebody else does because one day you go be a star, hopefully. But you want to do that because I said this last webinar that we're in this virtual economy right now. And people aren't going to meet you in person anymore. Even before, people are going to meet you online. So the first interaction that most people have with you is going to be online. That's why you will make sure you have a good website, you have good social media, you have pictures and videos, all those things. Why? Because we all know this. First impressions are key. So if I hear about you at a conference, if a friend refers me to your business, guess what? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type your name in on Google. I'm going to go to your LinkedIn page, your website, and see how it looks. And if it looks bad, I'm going to leave. I'm going to say, you know what? That person is not serious about their business. They're not serious about me. You know what? I'm going to hit the back button, go back to Google search, and I'm going to find a company that looks like you know what they're doing. So that's why it's so important to have that in your business. And let me show you an example of that real quick. So once again, I'll use myself, not to boast or not to brag, but once again, if you go to Google and you type in my name, this is what you see. Makes it a little bit bigger for you. So you see Sterling McKinley, and you see my website. You see me on Twitter. You see me on Google My Business, LinkedIn, Facebook, my book on Amazon, my channel on YouTube, and so on. So this is what you want for your business. You want to make it so when somebody goes in and they type in your business name or your name, that all they're seeing on that first page or two pages is your content. And once again, it's pretty easy to do that. Like I said, the main things you need to do, I'll give them to you real quick, is to have a LinkedIn page and have a page that's professional. Why? Because LinkedIn ranks very high on Google. So many times, if you type in anybody's name in the Google search, one of the first few links you're going to see is a LinkedIn profile. So you want to have a LinkedIn profile that's filled out all the way, that's informative, have a nice picture. Why? because that will show behind the Google search. Next thing, Twitter. Having a personal Twitter page is very important. Once again, because Twitter also ranks very high on Google. Once again, another one you want to have Google My Business. We talked about this in past webinars, but Google My Business is a free service where you can have your business listed on Google Maps. So I'll show you an example. When somebody does a search on Google, Google is going to show people the companies and services that are closest to them. So once again, if you can show up here in this map listing, that is key. So once again, you can almost guarantee placement on the first page if you have an account on LinkedIn, have an account on Twitter, and a profile on Google My Business. The next one you want to have is major is Facebook. Once again, Facebook is the biggest social media network. It has the most people on there. So you want to have a page on Facebook. You want to have a business page, and you also want to have a personal page as well. But why? Because once again, having a Facebook page is going to guarantee that you are coming up on that first page. Next, you definitely want to have a channel on YouTube. And we'll talk more about that later, but YouTube is so powerful. Video is so powerful. Right now, this is a video. You're not reading text, you're hearing from me. And that's what makes it so impactful and so powerful. So think about it. If people can view you online talking about your product and your service, they can see your passion, chances are they'll like you, hopefully, and that will pull them in. That's why video is so important because once again, we're living in a world that's digital. And that first impression that I have of you and your business is probably not going to be in person. It's going to be by me doing a Google search for your name or your business and coming up. So you want that search to be a good search. Because once again, if it's a bad experience, if they have a bad impression, they're going to leave and they're not going to treat you for service. So that's definitely key, and you definitely want to have that. So let's get back to the presentation here. So the first thing we want to talk about is having a personal website. Right here is a screenshot of my website, and once again, I'm not boasting or bragging, but I'm going to use my website and social media profiles as examples because I made sure they have all the things in there that you need to have a strong personal brand. So this is my website, and it's very important you have a personal website. So the next question is, what should you have on your personal website? And I'm going to show you. And one thing I want to say is that too, your personal website doesn't have to be super long or super detailed. It can be a one-page website, but somewhere online where you're talking to your customers so they can see you. So this is my personal website that's loading now. Um, I have a video on the front. That's great. You don't need a video, but if you have one, it helps. But you definitely want to have an about us page. Even if you have a one page website, a page where somebody can go and they can read about you, they can read about your history, and why you got into doing what you do, because everybody wants a story. So if you can craft a story of why you got into whatever it is you do, that's great. 'Cause once again, they want to get to know you before they get to know the business. Also, if you have any interviews or testimonials or press, put that on your page. Any logos also as well, because interviews and logos, what they do is they build credibility. So when people see logos, they think, okay, that person is doing a good job. They've been seen on NBC. They've spoken for this company. So anytime you can on your website, list logos. Also, if you are part of any trade or business associations, so whatever you do, let's say you have a restaurant, well, we'll have the seal on there that says you're a part of the Chicago Restaurant Association, whatever it is. The more certifications, the more logos you can provide for your customers, the more chances they're going to think about you and come to you for business. Because at the end of the day, what's this really about is about building credibility, building trust, and building authority. And people are saying, hey, if you're on these sites, if you've been on these new channels, if you're a part of this group, I can trust that group. And so I'll send that same level of trust to you and your business. So it's so key to have that. So, uh, anybody want to share what are some associations that you're a part of? Um, List that in the chat. Just type in some associations that you're a part of. Um, and also tell me, do you have logos and associations on your website? Because once again, that's a real easy way to kind of build that credibility. Having those websites, having those logos and associations on your website. So uh, let me know, do you have those on your website? While I'm waiting, I'll say if you don't, you definitely want to add those, and it's easy. Like I said, it's the easy way to build that trust and that credibility. So anytime you can associate your business, however big or small, with a bigger company, with a board, something like that is better. So think about buying cars. You ever watch TV? They were saying that their car has been approved by whatever association, by JD Power, by whatever. The same thing with phone companies. They say, hey, Verizon service is rated the best among all callers. Once again, because they realize having those testimonials or having those certifications by other organizations builds credibility. So sure to have that. We have one here that says college alumni group. Yeah, that's a good start. Let's see, National Rotary Association, Houston Realtor Association. Yeah, that's great. Realtors is all about that. Listing those associations on your website are really key. Um, and if you can, make those logos clickable. So when somebody clicks that, it goes back to the main site. So once again, they can see that, hey, I'm a part of a real association, that I'm just not faking this. So let's get back to the website and give you some more tips on what your personal site should have. Actually, let's go back to the presentation and do it that way. Let's skip LinkedIn for now. I'll come back to LinkedIn in a minute, but let's skip this now. So next is going to be your high quality photos. And once again, I'm not being vain here, but you see three photos of me in suits, and they're professional photos. That's really important because once again, people are buying into you and they're buying into your image. And once again, it's sad, but people do really judge you by your cover. So looking a certain way, looking professional, whatever you do, that can be a chef, that can be a lawyer, a personal trainer, look the part. So if you're a lawyer, you should be in the suit. If you're a personal trainer, you should be in workout clothes. If you're a chef, have on a chef hat, have on an apron, show people who you are and what you do. So I really recommend that you invest in having high quality photos for your business. For so many years, I had very bad pictures that were done on my cell phone, me posing, and I put those on LinkedIn, and it worked for a while. But when you're ready to go to the next level, when you're ready to get better clients, you need to invest in having high quality photos. And what I mean with that, once again, people are judging you of how you look. So once again, people are going to treat you, they're going to pay you on how you look. So in my own business a few years ago, I realized that if I wanted to charge more for my speaking, that I need to look the part, that my goal is to get $10,000 per speech. Great. To that point, I never got any close to that. But I said, okay, if I want to get paid this amount of money, I have to look like the other speakers that are getting this amount of money. Very simple concept. So look like you want to get. So if you're a realtor and you're selling houses that are 200, 300,000, fine. You want to sell $1 million houses? Guess what? You should look the part of $1 million real estate agent. You should look that part. So once again, the high quality images can increase your earning potential. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Also, I believe having high quality images can shorten the sales cycle because once again, people are very visual. It go back to our childhood. We were always looking at things. We're wired that way to judge things by how the way they look. So we attach value to things based on the way they look. So once again, if you look good, professional, and sometimes even if you're not good, if you look the part, that person will give you a chance. They'll call you to try you out. Why? Because you look the part. So once again, having those are so important. Yes, I agree, Jeremy. People are so visual. And I think sometimes as business owners, we lose sight of that. But doing things in PowerPoint, doing things that are cheap, taking your own pictures, in the long run, it's gonna hurt you. People are visual. You can talk, you can read all day, but the first thing people see is their eyes. They look at your what you're wearing, they look at your location, they look at your car, whatever it is. That's how they're judging you. So once again, it's the same thing going back to a Google search. People are judging companies based off how you look. Truth is, you could have the best company, the best service in the world, but if you don't look the part, people are not going to take the time to stop and look at your company. And so if your website is crappy, old, out of date, you have bad pictures that were taken on a cell phone, um, if they see you on Facebook, but you haven't commented and made a comment in the past 2 years, they see that and they say, "Wow, this company doesn't care about about how they are seen." One thing that always pisses me off or bugs me is when a restaurant has a bad review on Yelp or Go My Business, and they ignore the review. You can't ignore that stuff. People are seeing those reviews, those pictures, everything. So once again, the last I'll say 5 years, I've become almost obsessed with protecting my visual brand. And once again, that doesn't mean I'm vain enough like that, but I realized I said the way that people perceive me sets the tone for how much they're going to pay me and what kind of client they're going to be. So protecting your personal image, your personal brand is so key. And that's why I was saying earlier, you need to buy your name as a domain name because it's all about owning your image. And if you don't own your image, your story, somebody else will. So one of the beautiful things about owning your domain as a website is no matter what happens, that site is going to come up. So you can always set the story straight. So having that strong personal brand is so key. I have no comment here. Jeremy says also, if you have a business, don't have your social media accounts private. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that drives me crazy because the point of social media is to be social. And like Jeremy said, it's going back to the definition of social, talking, communication. So once again, if you have a private account on social media, if you have an account that's public and you don't respond to comments, you don't respond to DMs, you're losing business and you're hurting yourself. Once again, social media is social. There's that two-way communication. The same thing goes for if you get phone calls and you don't return them in a timely fashion. That matters. Your customers are not going to wait on you. If they call you for service about a product, they want to call back as fast as possible. Why? Because they're not stopping and waiting. Okay, I'll wait 24 hours for them to call me back. No, they're saying, I want service now. So respond to customers as soon as possible. Be sure, like Jeremy said, to have a public social media account. Because once again, that's the whole part of being social. People have to be able to communicate with you. If not, they're going to go to other company. And that's what the whole point the other day is. End of the day, people are not going to wait on your company. If your company is slow, it's out of date, if you're not tech savvy, if you're not social media savvy, they're going to leave. They're not going to wait for your site to load. They're not going to wait for you to do things. They're going to go to the next company. Because once again, I give an example. It's like when you go to the grocery store and there's 10 lines and we will go from line to line trying to find the line that moves the fastest. And at the end of the day, we save a minute or two. But in our minds, like, we don't want to wait. We're going to go from line to line to try to find the fastest line. So once again, your customers are extremely impatient. You have to be upfront with them. You have to respond immediately if you can, because that's what they really are desiring. I'll give you one more example of high quality pictures. Um, this is the picture of me speaking to a large audience. So, like I said, have pictures of you, of course, in your attire, whatever you do. If you're a baker, a lawyer, a florist, yoga instructor, whatever. But you want to set this tone. You want to let people see you working in your element. And what it does for me is when people see me speaking on stage, speaking on stage, in their mind, it draws a picture. Oh, he can actually do what he said. Look, he was on stage speaking to a room full of people. Let me take a chance and call this guy. So once again, if you can get pictures, high quality pictures. So a lot of people have low quality pictures, and a lot of people think that it costs so much money to get good pictures, but it doesn't. So I'll share a site with you real quick that I use for my I used to use when I was traveling around the country speaking. I use a site to find videographers and to find photographers around the country. That site is called thumbtack.com. I will send the link to you right now in the chat. Thumbtack.com is the site. And there's plenty of sites like this, but this is the one I use. And I love about it, you can put in your zip code and you can put in what you need. So let's put in portrait photographer. And what happens is really easy. It's gonna pop up and you can see a list of photographers, and you can go through and you can filter by price. So let's say we only have $200 to spend on photographer, which is not bad. We can click that $200, and now we show photographers that are in that range. So once again, for as little as a few $100s, you can get a photographer to come out to your business, to your house or whatever, and get high quality pictures of you. And great part of the site too, you can go click on their name and you can view their portfolio, so you can get an idea of what kind of pictures they have. So you're not just choosing a random photographer. You can kind of see some of the work they've done. Of course, the more you pay for a photographer, the better pictures you're gonna get. But for $200, it's not a bad photographer. But definitely go through and be sure to view uh, their profiles. But once again, that site is called thumbtack.com. Once again, if you go to the site, type in what you need, type in your zip code, and it will show you professionals that are in your area that can help you um, find somebody low cost that can use the service. And I've used this service several times. The picture I showed earlier, me speaking on stage, this picture was shot in Chicago. And of course, I don't have a staff to travel with me, but I got on the site. I found somebody in Chicago and said, "Hey, I'm speaking in Chicago on XYZ date, XYZ time. Can you come out to that talk, and can you get a picture of me talking?" And I got, for I think $200, I got about 80 pictures of me talking, and it's great. And till this day, I use these pictures. So what I mean by that is getting professional pictures of yourself. It's an investment. It's something that you can use over and over again. Now, yes, every once in a while, update your pictures. So me, about every year and a half, I get new pictures. So in a few weeks, I'm gonna get new headshots. Why? Because they're an investment. I use the headshots on my bios when I speak, on my website, social media, everywhere. So that few $100s I paid for those pictures, that was nothing, because I used those pictures to help me get more business. And that's the thing, like, it's marketing. You're using those pictures to get more business. So the pictures, they pay for themselves. So you definitely want to have high quality images. Going back to the comments, Tracy said she bought hers this evening. Great. So I'm guessing you're saying, Tracy, you went to GoDaddy.com and you bought your name as a domain name. So thank you for that. You're a very smart person. That's the first step in really owning your personal brand. So that's a great move. And Anybody else, if you're on a call, webinar, feel free to go to GoDaddy now after to buy your name as domain name. Another comment says, Jeremy says, thanks for the site recommendation. I will definitely use it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Thumbtack is a great site for those kind of things. And once again, you can find people that have pretty high quality services at decent, reasonable cost. So definitely use that site if you're looking to have somebody come out and shoot pictures or video of you as well. So that brings us to our next portion here, and that is video. So you see a video of me right here. Well, this is a screenshot of my video on YouTube. Um, it's so key. So I do a ton of these talking hit videos just like this, where I'm sitting here and I'm talking about digital marketing. And that is so key. So video is just so powerful. I'm not gonna repeat stats to you, but video is like you reaching through the camera and you're shaking your customer's hand. So by the time they come to your store, the time they see you, they already met you. So when they call you on the phone, they're hearing your voice and they're picturing your face. Why? Because they've already seen you. So once again, I think in this new virtual economy that we're in, this whole webinar is titled "The New Normal," and we're teaching Black business owners how to use digital to exist and to thrive in this new economy we're in. And this economy is digital. So if you can see me, if you can see my smile, you can see my suit, you can see my face, hear my voice, that's so much more powerful than having a website full of text that's just having a long bio. Nobody reads bios. So if you have bios, keep them short to the point. But having a video where somebody can see you, that's powerful. And tonight, like this webinar, this has been recorded. This is going to be later. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube and other sites. And at any time, anybody can go back and view the video once again. So these videos, they live forever. That's the great part about it. And these videos, you put them on your website, you got them on YouTube, social media as well. So that's one thing I really want to stress. Anytime you have anything, repurpose it. If you get a photo shoot done, that picture should be on your website. That picture should be email signature. That picture should be on LinkedIn. It should be on whatever social media site you're on. It should be everywhere. Use that. The same thing. If you have a video of you talking, that video should be on YouTube. It should be on Facebook. It should be LinkedIn, everywhere. Use that stuff. Get the most you can out of whatever service you have. If that's a video or picture, use that thing. Find ways to share it over and over again, because what can you pay for that asset? Make it pay for itself by using it again and again. And I think also in my career, I've been able to get more contracts, better contracts because of this. Because why? People have gone on LinkedIn and see me speaking just like this and have booked me to come speak. I didn't sell them. I didn't call them nothing. I've gotten job offers just off videos like this, me talking about digital marketing. So once again, video, it sells. It really does sell because once again, people see you, they can hear you, and that pulls them in. So we're going to visit my YouTube page and I'm going to give you some examples of what you can do. But before I do that, um, everybody thinks video is expensive, and it can be. My camera was $1,000, my lights, my computer, all that stuff. But this is what I do, so I spent the money. But everybody has one of these. Everybody has a iPhone, an Android that has 4K HD video. You get a good stand for your camera, you get good lighting, you can start recording videos on your phone. So when I say video, don't be intimidated by video. You can use your cell phone. Use what you have to get started. I mentioned type Thumbtack. Yes, if you have the money, the budget, time, definitely hire professional. But there's nothing wrong with you getting your phone out and recording video on that. So once again, don't wait. Just create it. Just create it. And over time, upgrade it. So maybe you start out doing it on your phone, then you buy a web camera, then you buy a nicer camera, kind of like I have. But over time, upgrade yourself. But you have to start somewhere, so it doesn't cost um, $1 million to get started. So let's go to my YouTube page. I'm talking a lot. Before I move on, are there any questions? Anything I said about personal branding? We talked about your website. We talked about images, and we also have talked about pictures. But I'm sorry, images and also videos. But before I move on to show examples of the types of videos you can have for your business, are there any questions about um, anything I've been saying? Kimberly has a question. She says, "What is the name of the brand of camera you use?" I use a Sony camera. So you can use Sony cameras. You can use Canon. Um, if you just Google best cameras for live streaming or best cameras under $1,000, there's so many good cameras out now. You can spend a few $100s and get a good camera. But the camera I use, I'll drop it in the link real quick. And this camera is new too. I just got the camera in the last few weeks here. Once again, you use what you have. So when I started out, I had that grainy camera on my MacBook. It wasn't the best, but I started out with it. It was something to get started. And the next thing that I got was a webcam, a little better, and I kept making money for my company, and then I invested in a better camera like this. So start where you're at, and I will show you that when we go to my YouTube page. I'll show you how it is when I first started out. The videos weren't the best, but hey, you have to get started. So I dropped the link in here. So I'm not sure what your budget is. This camera's about uh, $900. You can find it used for maybe about 700, but there's so many cheap cameras in there. Once again, just type in Google, type in uh, cameras, uh, DLSR cameras under $500. You can find one to get started. But you definitely want to use video. So let's go to YouTube and show you what I mean. So one thing I want to say too is that um, does anybody know what the number two search engine is? So Google is the number one search engine. Does anybody know what the number two search engine is? If you do, just type in the comments. What is the number two search engine? While I wait, I'll get some water because I've been talking a lot. What is the number two search engine? Oh, you guys are smart. Okay. See, Jeremy says YouTube. Um, Tracy says YouTube. Yeah, you got it. Um, sorry, Kimberly. Bing is down there. I'm not sure what number Bing is. Yahoo used to be popular, but Yahoo is kind of fading off now. Um, the number two search engine is YouTube, and there's a reason why. The number one search engine um, is Google. So naturally, when you type in results on Google, what happens? Videos pop up. So let's show you an example of that. So if we go back to let's type in Sterling McKinley in Google. That's what we get. So once again, we have my website, all of that. But if you scroll down a little bit more, what do you see? You see my links on YouTube. So once again, this is why you need to have a YouTube channel, whether that's for your personal brand or for your business, because YouTube is the number two search engine. So you have to have a channel on YouTube. So let's click this link, and it'll take us to YouTube. Um, This is a video I did for a fellowship that I'm a part of this year. Um, just me talking. But once again, right here, let's do a search for my name, Sterling McKinley. And what pops up? You see all my videos. Well, this one guy plays football. That's not me. I'm trying to knock him down. But other than that, you see all me. You see my interviews. I've been on podcasts when I talk. The webinars that I'm doing live now is showing up on YouTube. So reviews for my website on YouTube as well. More podcasts. So once again, people go to Google and then they go to YouTube because once again, people are kind of getting tired of reading stuff. So if I can watch a video that's 1 minute, 2 minute long that explains what you do, that's even better. So let's click on my channel here, Sterling McKinley, and you'll see I have a listing of all my videos. So I think I have 80 videos. Should be more, but you see all my videos of me talking. So you see videos of me talking now to the camera. And these videos I shoot like this, I post them on LinkedIn, and also on Facebook, on Instagram, sites like that. Once again, me just talking about digital marketing and talking about what I do. So that's one way you can have a video. Just you sitting in front of the camera and talking. So let's um let's find out what kind of video you can make. So my videos that I make are all about digital marketing, social media. They're about video, email, and so on. But I want to find out from you, what are some video topics that you can make for your business you can talk about? So type in the comment box, what are some of the types of videos you can make for your business? And once again, it can vary, but whatever your industry is, you want to just simply just talk about that. It doesn't have to be exciting, doesn't have to be funny, but it can be it can be this you talking. Yeah, Jeremy, I painted my my wall blue a few weeks ago. And truthfully, I like it, but I kind of miss the white. I feel like I kind of stood out more from the background, so I might go back to the white, I guess. But what are some videos you can make? What are some ideas about topics that you could talk about in your videos? So while I'm waiting for you to type, there's so many kinds of videos. There's videos of you giving a review. You can give a review of a product, a review of a service. People will watch that. Like you be surprised. People go to Google, YouTube to find out stuff. How to work my iPhone. So you can make a video about that, a review. So Jeremy said home staging. Yeah, I mean that's great. You can have a video of you going to a house and telling you why you put the picture here and not here. What's the best way to have furniture aligned so it's easy for the buyer to walk around. That's the simple video you can do right there. You can put that on Instagram. You can put that on Facebook, anywhere. So home staging is great. Also, if you're in a home, every once in a while, if you're on social media, go live. So, hey, this is Jeremy. We're at XYZ house right now. We're just setting up the furniture. We're getting ready for the buyers to come in. There's so many ways you can share video content on what you do. So that's a great one. Definitely, home staging is great. If you're in the real estate business, it's definitely good to show your product. Um, Anybody else? On that same note, behind the scenes, people love seeing what goes on behind the scenes. So you think it's boring, but people love when you turn the camera around and they can see how things are set up, when they can see what's going on, when they can see what goes into that. So once again, if you can get somebody that kind of behind the scenes view, that's really big, and people will watch that. Why? Because they want to know what's going on. So uh, In the past, I've shared videos of me getting ready for a speech, where I'm getting ready behind the stage. I'm a little nervous. I'm drinking my Starbucks coffee because when I speak, I like to be very energetic. So I drink some caffeine before I go on stage, and those videos get the most views. So behind the scenes is great. Kimberly says, I teach software tech support on YouTube. Yeah, that's great. I mean, YouTube has saved me so many times when something's wrong with my computer and my phone, my camera, my lighting. I YouTube it. And chances are there's somebody that has the same issue on YouTube and they're looking for that. And that's how I want to key on too. Like the whole thing behind Google, the whole thing behind YouTube is people are looking for answers to their problems. That can be a business, that can be a service, that can be whatever. So once again, if you can do a review on stuff like home staging, that's perfect. Let's say I don't have the money to hire a home stager, or I'm thinking about hiring one. Make a video about why it's important to have a home stager, and if you have a home stager, how does it sell 15 times faster when it staged by a professional? That's awesome. That's something that I would watch. Oh, that's why I need to hire this guy, because why? If I use him and my house is aligned properly, it'll sell faster because it looks better. Jeremy said, so a behind the scenes video like a day in the life. Yeah, exactly. A day in the life. It can be a quick video. It can be a minute, 2 minute long. This showing kind of what goes into home staging. So if you're going to stores and you're buying furniture, show that. Picking out the furniture. Tell them why you put the furniture here and you put it there. Simple. That behind the scenes is um so good. And also too, it's very easy to create that kind of content because you don't have to remember a script. You don't have to be nervous. You're just talking about your everyday job. I don't care what you do. You can sit down right now without any script, any practice, and tell me what goes in to what you do in your job. People love seeing that because once again, it gives them that behind the scenes look. So we got about 10 minutes left. Um, Let me go back to YouTube. So once again, video just talking, very big for your business. Definitely want to have videos just talking. And once again, video sell. So um, if you don't have one, go to youtube.com and create a a channel for your business or for yourself. And like I said, starting off, it doesn't have to be super professional. It doesn't have to have great lighting and great sound. It can be, okay quality, but just start somewhere because, you know, for me, when I'm looking online for a company, I'm trying to get a sense of who that person is. So even if the video isn't the best video per se, fine. I still want to see them just talking about their product or talking about the service. So that's definitely something that you want to do. So we're running out of time here, but the last thing that we'll talk about tonight is blogging. So if you don't want to do videos or do both, blogging is so key. So on your website, just writing about your product or service is so key. People want to see that. And once again, that's a way to come up higher in the Google search. So, Jeremy, if you write a blog post about home staging in Dallas or whatever city you're in, when somebody types in home staging and have to be in Dallas, that blog or that video may pop up. So once again, adding blogs to your page is a way to get more traction in. Um, I think when it comes to personal branding, you want to be able to have good pictures and videos, but also be able to write about what you do. So yeah, find ways to write about what you do. And people are asking me, what should I write about? What should I make videos about? You make videos, you write blog posts, social media posts around the things that interest your user base, that interest your audience. So if they like home staging, videos about home staging. Is it like yoga? It is about yoga and fitness and working out and eating right. It's just that easy because that's the way you're going to pull them in. Why? Because you're talking about things that they have an interest in. And when they see that, it's going to pull them in even more. So we have a few minutes left. Are there any questions about anything I said, or does anybody have any questions about their personal brand? Any challenges you're having? Any questions? If so, now is the time to ask those questions. Any questions about personal branding? And while I'm waiting on for you to respond, I gave you a lot of information on Tuesday and today. By no means am I saying all this has to be done today, now. A personal brand is something that you build over time. My personal brand wasn't always like this. It used to be sad, but over time, as I got better, I invested more in a personal brand. So you don't have to go out and buy a camera and get pictures and all the stuff today. No, start small. Start with social media. Start with video. Start with blogging, or start by simply buying your name as the domain name. It's an ongoing task. You're never done. It's something that you constantly have to work on and get better. Um, and one thing I didn't mention was LinkedIn. Let me quickly show you my LinkedIn page and I'll wrap up. Answer those few questions that are listed here. So this is my page on LinkedIn. And once again, this is so key because people are typing in your name. When they hear about you, the first thing they see is your page. So making sure you have a page that's filled out completely. Whatever profile you have online, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, make sure you fill the profile completely. Why? Because these networks go to show your profile more to people when it's filled out completely. So list all your job histories, have pictures and videos. Like I was saying, repurpose all your videos. These same videos are on YouTube. These same videos are on my website. These same pictures on my website. I'm using the images over and over again. So yes, it costs me money, but I'm making money back. Why? Because I'm using those images and pictures over and over again. List all your jobs and where you've been at, because people like to see that you're the expert. So once again, LinkedIn is a great way also to really brand yourself. So if you're on LinkedIn, definitely take the time to fill out your profile. And once again, it's never done. You're always updating your profile, adding new jobs, adding new information. But once again, LinkedIn is a great way to really brand yourself, because people, they type your name, first thing they do, they go to your LinkedIn page, and you wouldn't be sure that's a good interaction. Let's see. Jeremy has a question. He says, licensed in Texas, was practicing and living in Houston, Texas, took a break, living in Atlanta. Thanks for tips. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, being in real estate, you definitely want to become, the real estate expert of that city. And the way to do that is to buy video. I mean, simple videos, just talking about, home buying and tips and things like that to really bring yourself as a realtor in that city. Tracy says, building a personal brand is like reputation. You build it over time. Yeah, I agree. Definitely. It's not something that's done one day. And, I asked a question in the last webinar. I said, rate your personal brand from 1 to 10. And everybody gave ratings from 1 to 10. But like I say, it takes time to build that, and you can improve. And everybody on here already has a personal brand. People already perceive you a certain way. What I want you to do is become more intentional about your personal brand and more about um, making sure that your personal brand is more professional and you're using it to get bigger customers for your business. Jeremy says, have you started using newer apps like Clubhouse and TikTok yet to expose your reach? Yes and no. Haven't done Clubhouse yet, but I've heard a lot of great things about Clubhouse. Yeah, I have used TikTok once again, and I'll say there's so many apps out there and networks. I would say find the ones that make the sense for you. Find the ones that your competitors are on and be on those. Don't try to be on every single app and network because you'll get burned out. So, yes, I have tried TikTok, Clubhouse. I'm not crazy about it, but I know it does work. So, once again, choose a network that work for you. One more question, and we're gonna end here. It says, do you pay advertising or focus more on organic marketing? Both. I think it should be a split. You should be paying for marketing and advertising to be seen, and you should still have that organic marketing because paid is great, but when you stop paying, it goes away. Organic is always going to be there. And the great thing I'll say too about paid advertising is becoming so affordable, especially in social media, running ads on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of pricey, but running ads on Facebook, Instagram is very cheap. For $5 a day, you can reach so many customers. So you definitely want to have a split. Have a split between paid advertising and organic advertising. Last question. We're going to end. It says, "A work in progress. Thanks. This is great. It takes pressure to make diamonds. Yeah, it does. It takes time to build that personal brand. So definitely do that. So, saying all that, thank you again for your time tonight. Um, we'll be back again on next Tuesday, talking about a new topic. Um, Now, if I said anything too fast, you came in late. All these webinars are being recorded. If you go on YouTube or if you go on Facebook, you can find a recording of these webinars. Also, if you want more training like this and other trainings, visit usblackchambers.org for a list of upcoming events. So, once again, thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again on next Tuesday when we talk about more things digital marketing. So have a great weekend. Take care. Thanks for joining us, and bye.